Anything you'd like to say, Matthew? Anything else you want to add? Say?
No, I think I spoke my mind. You know, I don't want anyone ever to doubt our team again. That's all I want to say.
What's gonna happen this weekend? It's 11 o'clock kick.
Oh, we're gonna crush them.
Okay.
Gang,
Zoo straight up garbage.
Gang said she's sick. She'll email you.
Okay.
Actually,
Anybody seen Connor? This is week 2. He hadn't been. What's up, Alexander?
Honestly, I feel like the game is going to be closer than we expect, just because they're going to be coming in with just the wrong mentality. You know, I think Jim, like you've been hearing Jimbo talk, he's like, all right, that was fun, but now we got to get to work, and you know, the players need to be thinking on that. Jimbo's in the right mindset. The players need to be in the right mindset too.
You guys are dragging ass.
Was just impressive, and then a post-game interview with Nick Saban as well.
What's up, Connor? Okay. Well, all right. Maybe the wrong day for this because the 8 a.m. class was this, and it wasn't the same lecture, but it was a little lecture heavy, and so they were just and it's not my fault because I'm fantastic. So they were absolutely falling asleep and dragging ass, and there were a lot of absences like there are today. So we'll see how we do. Please hang in there. Please engage as much as you can. Okay? Sound good? Deal? Okay. Who's this?
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. Good. If you had me for 281, some of this will be review, but it's been a while, so we'll see how you do. Okay, we got Churchill. Churchill win World War II?
Yes.
Did he win it?
You remember this? A little?
Yeah, he told us he air jumped into Berlin, like took Hitler's head out, and then marched westward or eastward towards Russia. Tell him to stay away.
Okay.
Booyah.
Don't think that's what I said, but hang in there. Okay, we'll see. All right, so is leadership an attribute of the leader, the individual, or the system that they are in? Kenneth, put your phone on. Both?
It's also
Okay.
a position, but it's also a skill.
Okay, we'll see. Anyone else? Of course it does. But I'm asking a question. It always depends. Is the leader an attribute? Is leadership an attribute of the leader or the system that they are in?
Could you be a little more specific?
Are you asking?
Hold on, I can't hear. What? No. I'm asking a yes or no question.
Well, I mean, if it's leadership, then you're asking about whether, like Winston Churchill's a good example of leadership here. The answer would be that
Well, I was asking if he won the war.
he answered them strategically superior to the Nazis, but not a better leader.
Not a better leader than who?
Hitler.
What? So we're removing. Well, who won the war?
It doesn't matter.
Who won the war?
Americans.
Did Hitler lose the war?
Yes.
Is Hitler a good leader?
Yes.
No. Hitler's a terrible leader. Did he ever win an election?
No.
No. Never won an election. Okay? So then I'm picking on you because of you're not alone. When we talk about Hitler, we've done in other classes, people say Hitler was a good leader. Was he? No, why not, Devin?
Wasn't actually able to get the people behind him in a moral way.
Okay, fair enough, but what else? Yeah, you're right. What else?
He didn't care for his people.
Didn't take care of his people? Good. Was he a good tactician?
No.
No. He was exactly, right? Absolutely. Blitzkrieg could have swept across Europe. But when generals started to keep going without his permission, he pulled them back because his ego was so big. Did he also kill millions of innocent people? Yes. Was Hitler a good leader? No. Now, we can argue about some of the efficacies that he had, right? Propaganda he did. Okay, things that he did do well. He was also an artist and a vegetarian. So maybe he was painting. He's like, damn, I can't get the trees. I'll kill everyone in the world. Okay? Not a good leader. Okay.
I feel like Winston Churchill is more of a system-based leader.
Is it what? Systems-based leader?
Yeah, like
Okay.
he was a really good wartime prime minister.
Yes, he was. What happened after the war?
You guys
He got booted.
by labor.
Yeah. There are biographies about Churchill that give him single-handed credit for winning World War II. Right? Did he win World War II by himself?
No.
Okay. Did England have a distinct geographical advantage to other countries in Europe? What was it? Yeah. Thank God they're an island. Okay? Right? So he got a little bit lucky. Was he a good leader? Yeah, had a lot of things. Okay? Did he win the war by himself? No. Okay. Who's this? George. Okay.
Boss.
Huh?
Boss.
Boss. Okay. All right. Huh? Apple trees. Okay, good. All right. We're often inspired by the charismatic leader, but we can't always explain why. You might see someone you like, you see a leader you like, and you gravitate towards them. We don't always know why. Okay, George, tall, good looking. He's old here. George was really good looking when he was young. Okay? He'd walk into parties, he got all the ladies. Right? Very self-conscious about his education, which lacked compared to the founding fathers he's hanging out with. Ben Franklin, creepy, ugly. Okay? Super smart. Still did weird stuff with the ladies, if you really want to get into his past. Okay? So, are we wrong to consider the great man? The great individual? Connor says no.
It's like, I feel it's a very natural way to just kind of like presume things. I mean, God is like the greatest man of all time, right?
Okay.
Jesus. So, I mean, in like if humans are like more inclined to be lazier in our in the way we do things, and then also then the laziest way of leadership is just, oh, this is the best person ever. Just follow them.
So are we wrong to consider the great man?
So no.
You still say no, okay, Matthew?
I say no as well, but I think the problem is whenever like we talk about a great man, oftentimes we overlook their flaws because of the majority of their successes.
Excellent. You can go home for the day. You're on fire. Okay. Killing. What'd you have, HP? Did you say something?
I mean, I was a little bit yes, but more so leaning towards like a timing of it, because I don't think idealism of a single individual should occur over like a great swaths of time. But maybe in the short term, when you're trying to achieve a certain objective, it's just one of those things where it's really good for morale, and it's really good for people around you.
Okay.
If you get down to the nitty and gritty, I mean, all of us suck. So
Who did George want a commission with?
the British.
Yeah. We only got him because he was poor.
Yeah.
Okay? He didn't have enough money to buy his commission. You should just be able to buy your commission. Sounds awesome, right? Right? Just be an officer, write a check. Okay? Be able to do that. But his dad died when he was still relatively young. They'd spent the money on the older kids, and he wanted to be a British officer, and he couldn't afford it. Flip side. Okay? One of his first expeditions as a leader, he almost starts an international war with one of our only allies in France. Leads an expedition, has some Native Americans with him, okay? And the Native American dude that he's with cuts a dude's head off, who's a diplomat from France. Not a great start for old George, okay? Made plenty of mistakes, all right? It's pretty likely that Churchill didn't even lead like Churchill. If you read biographies, what do the biographies tell us about people?
Grandiose speeches.
How awesome they are, right? Yeah, how great they are. How great Churchill was, okay? Have you seen the movie, what is it, Finest Hour, Darkest Hour, the Churchill movie, right? Okay, and what does the King of England think about Churchill? You remember, Hannah? He doesn't like him. He's like, we can't pick this guy. They picked him because he was right about Hitler. And he was a tough guy, right? He was a badass. He's like, we can do it. We can win the war. And even the King of England was like, maybe not. Maybe I should leave, okay? But so Churchill served his purpose at the time. He liked to drink, okay?
Hell yeah.
Right. But he would also work like extensive hours, and usually have like 2 days in one. He would start drinking early in the day, right? Take a nap, take a shower, wake up in the middle of the afternoon, and start over and work till late in the night. He would literally make like 2 days in one, okay? I'm not telling you to go do that, but just letting you know. Devin.
I was gonna say, I consider the great man as the alternative. Have you ever read Dune?
Dune?
Frank Herbert?
No, I know about it. I've not read it.
Basically, his whole premise was like going against this idea of Camelot in like the early '60s, with people thinking that JFK was like the greatest person ever.
Sure.
And he could do whatever he wanted.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if
Good.
It's like society doesn't fix all our problems. They're likely to do a lot of bad things.
Okay, yeah. Matthew, you have something to add?
I was just gonna say it's a good book.
Huh?
I was gonna say it's a good book. Dude is very good.
Good. All right, good. I'll check it out. Okay. Good. You're exactly right, Devin. I want you guys to think about this in the context of today. Okay. You guys are all right on track, which is awesome. Okay. We're doing better than any of them. This is what we're breaking down today. I read a whole book so you guys don't have to. All right. Whoop, right? Yeah. Okay. General McChrystal, all right, who was commander-in-chief of Afghanistan and Iraq for a while. Okay. And Skona was going to bring in this fall, I guess, and didn't, which is disappointing to me. All right. Wrote a book, Leaders, Myth and Reality. Okay, again, hierarchical background, right? It's military, army general, okay? Now he works at Yale, runs a McChrystal group, all that good stuff. Okay, we'll get into it. This is who he broke down. The only one he did single was Robert E. Lee. Okay, we'll get to Robert E. Lee, right? And y'all know a little bit about him. And then he used Plutarch's method of comparison, not just the character in Hunger Games. Plutarch was a person. Okay, who's Albert Einstein? Huh?
Physicist.
Smart man, physicist, Connor?
One of the greatest scientists of the early 20th century.
Yeah, came up with theory of relativity, of which there are two. Did you know that? Okay. Good. Was a genius. All right. How about Leonard Bernstein? Bingo. God, man, you owe him more money. He was a composer, a director. Okay. Also a genius in his field. Okay. Again, we'll get a little more into Einstein here in a little bit. How about Walt Disney? Yeah, started Disney. Okay, happiest place on earth. What was Walt like as a leader?
Millennial bums.
Because he racist.
Possibly. I don't know the answer to that one. Huh?
I heard he was a super bad guy.
He was a bit of a tyrant. He was kind of a dick. Okay? Building the happiest place on earth, but he knew what he wanted to do with it. Okay? Now, you could probably say this, I know you could say it about Bill Gates. You can get into it with Jeff Bezos. Okay? Musk, I've seen less of that, but there's some. If you're running a company that you're starting from the ground up, no one's going to care as much as you do about that company. So oftentimes, people who start things tend to be, as a founder, they tend to be a little tyrannical. Not necessarily a good thing. Okay, that's what it is. How about Coco Chanel? Anybody know anything about her?
Purses.
Huh?
$3,000 purses.
$3,000 purses. Did anybody not know that she was a person? Okay, fair enough. Oh, down you go. You have to stay the rest of the day. Okay. Coco Chanel came from nothing. Okay, literally like adopted, passed around, came from nothing, married a very wealthy dude, and started a business. Okay? She wanted everybody to think that she was from that upper echelon. She didn't want people to know about her background. So she created this facade of who she was. Okay? Yet, wanted to make clothes for the common person. So that's what mattered to her. Rose up, got a little money, got support, built up an empire that still exists today. Okay? There's two ways to do it, huh?
She wants to make clothes for the common person. The common people don't have $3,000 purses.
Yeah, but there are also a lot, that's not what it started as. You're right, but that's not what it started as. And there is also affordable. I mean, look, they have everything. Everything. Perfume, clothes, everything. It's a fashion empire still today. Okay? And came from nothing, huh? Someone say something. Okay. Anybody know who Boss Tweed is? What do you got, Devin?
He was a mob boss before, during like the 1870s. He was like,
Yeah, political mob. Okay, anyone else? Didn't know anything else about him?
What a
I
great
read the New
name.
York Times, and I think it was like Rosa Cleveland or something, just took it down.
So Boss Tweed was in Tammany Hall, which was a corrupt political machine, right, of like how to get people elected and all that stuff. Became a politician, was in charge of like the fire brigade, but there were multiple fire brigades and they would fight. Okay. Tweed stole in the 1870s an estimated between $25 and $45 million. Okay, that's the equivalent of like 300 million today. You know what he said in his jail cell? I'd do it all over again. Okay, no regrets in life. Okay, went at it hard, right? Just took everyone's money, never gave a shit. Okay, loving life, right? Got busted, escaped, but he was getting old and fat, so he turned himself back in. Okay, pretty interesting dude. How about Margaret Thatcher?
Iron Lady,
The Iron Lady, yes. Who was who?
the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Prime Minister, Americans. We have no idea about any other world leaders. Right? Okay. Good. And she was, what else? You're on fire. What else? First female Prime Minister. Okay. And was there for 15 years. All right. One, again, on being one of the first female world leaders, really. Okay. And then got pushed out towards the end. Okay. But was really well liked, very popular. Right. Martin Luther King. Civil rights activist. Good. How old was he when he found himself in that world? He was in his 20s when he went to Birmingham, right out of Harvard Divinity School. Young man. Was not just born Martin Luther King, this incredible speaker and activist. Okay, completely grew and developed into that role.
Wasn't he a pastor?
Yes, yeah. Hence his went to Harvard Divinity School. Yep. So got his doctorate there. Okay. How about Martin Luther? Where are my Catholics? You're not going to like this. Okay. What do we know about Martin Luther?
He started the Protestant Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Because he was very dissatisfied with how secular he viewed the Catholic Church being.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Magus. Connor.
Allow me to say something right here.
Please.
All right, Martin Luther's gripes with the Catholic Church, his 96 Theses, mostly rooted in the fact that 95, whatever. Mostly rooted in the fact that the church was like using a lot of shifty theology to raise funds to build like I think it was St. Gregory's Cathedral at the time.
Uh-huh.
So they're selling indulgences, right? Most, if not all, of those grievances have been resolved. So
Sure.
Protestantism has no foundation.
Was he wrong? Was he wrong at the time?
No. I mean,
Technically, he's still a heretic, so.
Good. Okay. Harriet Tubman. Who's Harriet Tubman? Underground Railroad. Okay. How many people Harriet Tubman saved?
Just like thousands or something?
About 80. There were people with the Underground Railroad who did far more than her. Why do we remember Harriet?
She went back.
She went back. At any point that she gets captured, she's either going to be killed or immediately put back into slavery. Why did she become a symbol? It was because of that. Harriet Tubman was this tall, couldn't read or write, had zero education. Okay? One of the first women to ever lead U.S. men into combat in the Civil War. Yep. Okay. It didn't matter that Harriet Tubman's numbers weren't great. It's what she represented. Somebody who had no business going back to free other people, right? Risking her life with every single trip. Doing it without maps, no GPS, no flashlight, no Googles. Who's given up? Who's done? Okay. All that on her own, okay? Does anybody know who Zhang He is?
Yeah, I do love the Chinese treasure fleets.
Yeah, good. Oh, man, it's on fire, okay? Worldly. See, European. You guys, no idea. Okay. Was an explorer. He's the equivalent of William Wallace to China. Okay, you seen Braveheart? Holy shit. You guys haven't seen Braveheart? God, I'm getting old.
parts of it.
Oh my God, watch Braveheart. It's incredible. Okay. Zheng He was rumored to be 7 feet tall with a 5-foot waist. Okay. Incredible warrior. And came from nothing because his dad got killed. They made him a eunuch, right? And he became one of China's greatest generals of all time. And this was about 700-800 years ago. Okay. So this is who they compared. Oh, we got 2 million. Robespierre, Maximilian Robespierre. Anybody?
The guy who
Yes.
headed-
He's bailing you out today. He what?
He was responsible for the execution of around like 20,000 people during the, I think it was called like the terror during the.
So French Revolution. Yeah, French Revolution. Okay. So Robespierre, so they had king and queen in France, and they're like, well, this isn't right. Let's create democracy, which was not easy to do. A bunch of peasants rose up, overthrew, and Robespierre, sitting up in his little apartment, total introvert, okay, hiding away, sending tweets, writing letters, okay, about what the French Revolution should be, okay, and becomes a zealot, which is someone who's uncompromising in their passion for whatever that passion is, okay. His passion was the French Revolution and democracy, okay. What happened to Robespierre?
People thought that they were next on the execution block, so they went up and killed him, or they accused him of stuff. And
They cut his head off.
and then,
Long story short. Yeah, they cut his head off because the revolution got so far. This is terrifying. This is why you should know your history. The revolution went so far they started going anti-science. So it was like anyone who had anything to do with education and science were like, oh, terrible person, cut his head off. Okay, so yeah, one of the fathers of the French Revolution dies at the beheading like everybody else. Okay, how about Al-Zarqawi? Oh my God. Okay. Terrorist.
Terrorist he was in prison, learned a lot of people skills.
Yeah.
Got out of prison and created a ginormous network of spies and informants.
Yeah, look, where you go to better yourself, prison, right? Okay. Zarqawi goes to prison and actually develops his people and leadership skills. Awesome, right? And then gets released when he shouldn't have been. Okay? They start turning people loose because they can't hold them, and they're just freeing people that they think aren't that bad. Okay. Zarqawi says, he goes to bin Laden and says, I want to join ISIS. What did bin Laden say?
No,
Pump the brakes. Why?
he was too extreme.
Too extreme. He was so crazy. Bin Laden was like, I gotta tell you, bro, no. Right? I don't think you fit in our organization. Okay?
Is he the founder of Al Qaeda in Iraq?
Yeah, so he was part of Al Qaeda, absolutely. Okay, and McChrystal ended up hunting him down and killing him, and it was hard to do. Why? You remember? Hoover knows, my man. Zarqawi was like Robin Hood to the locals. Okay, he was really well liked. He was excellent with people. Okay, developed his leadership skills. Right, better understood the Quran. All right, from an extremist standpoint. All right, and they liked him because in a chaotic situation in Afghanistan and Iraq, he was a guiding light. He was providing structure to the terrorists. Okay? All right, this is who we're comparing. All right, we good? All right, let's keep going. This is what Bob Gates said about this book. You can read that real quick. Good, you guys are touching on it, right? Deeply thought. Good? Okay. Here's you guys. Music. Art or science? Both. Would you say yes? I'll accept yes.
Art.
Huh? Oh, really? Composing? Crescendo matter?
All this is all art. That's not science.
Okay. But the music part of it?
Does the music come off his
The creation, the timing, the notes fitting in, people working together?
That's the art competencies. This is art.
Those of you who said yes or both are correct. What about leadership? Samesies. Okay, that's my point, right? By the way, I took that picture. It's a really good picture. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Kent State.
It was a couple years ago. It might have been Clemson beforehand, but I can't remember because that game was in the evening.
That was would the sun be down?
Well, that's why I was trying to remember it, but it might have still been up. Or I don't remember. I don't remember. Does it matter? You can probably see the scoreboard. Oh, it's Prairie View. A couple years ago. I think that's purple. No, not Prairie View. Sam? Might be Sam. It's not Alabama. Might be Sam. Anyway. Okay. So we covered. Zealots are a guiding light in chaotic situations. Geniuses are similar. They asked Einstein, who was Jewish, not from Israel, to be president of Israel. Why? Why is that funny? You're right. Why? Right.
Not qualified.
Does Einstein know anything about politics or leading a country? No. Why did they want him to be president? Because he was a genius. When he created the theory of relativity, at the time there's maybe a dozen people on the planet who could actually understand it. Today, there's maybe 200. You're not one of them, Connor.
We watched a YouTube video on it.
Huh?
We watched a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
I'll be one of
There's a
the
difference
people
between
who-
information and knowledge, Ivan, which I've gone over many times. Okay. It's not about their values. It's about what they could do. It's the possibilities that Einstein could make Israel great. Would he be a good leader? Probably not. We don't know. Okay?
Read a couple books about leadership, and
Is that all it takes?
yeah.
There you go. Yep.
That's what SOMS is.
Good. Okay. Here's the issue. You usually consider style or substance. Not usually both. Think about a leader you look up to. Right? Political, buddy, professor, parent, friend, whoever. Don't care. Usually we like them because of their style or their substance. It's not usually both. Right? Ask you beginning of the semester, every semester. Some of you have been with me a while. Okay? When I ask you about the definition of leadership, it's usually something about being process-driven, action-oriented, including a group to define a common outcome or goal, right? Okay. It's executed by the leader, and the effectiveness is measured by the result. This is incomplete, and more than likely wrong. It doesn't cover the deeper complexities, the typical notions of leadership, and expectations of followers. Robert E. Lee was who? Leader of the Confederate Army. Okay? Where did he go to school? West Point. Rumored to be the perfect cadet. Never had a demerit. When Virginia seceded, what did he do? He chose Virginia over the country that he swore to defend and protect. Did he win the war? Rumored to be the best general we had. We went and asked him to lead the Northern Army, okay, to lead the Union. He turned him down. You know what Arlington National Cemetery was? His home. That's where he lived. And after the war, they were like, hey, by the way, we're going to bury everybody here on your land. Screw you. Okay? Was Robert E. Lee a good leader?
So, great tactician.
Good tactician, I'll take it. But did he win the war?
No, but a lot of people don't contribute to him as a leader. More of just the lack of, a lot of the people attribute the Union winning to like the development of the railroad system and like just the lack of mobility that they had.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument that the Union fought the war with one arm tied behind their back once they started suffocating the economy of the South. Yeah, what do you got, Connor?
I would say, in some regards, he didn't need to win the war. In a lot of ways, the fact that there was a war in the first place, and the end result of things falling through with Reconstruction,
Mm-hmm.
like the South, in many regards, still isn't any better off than it used to be. I mean, you have like Florida's, full of cocaine money, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana get ragged on by everyone else.
Is the South better off than it was 150 years ago?
150 years ago, sure, it's probably more possible.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Everybody still looks at them, and they still wave the Dixie flag.
Yeah, should they? It was 4 years of failed leadership in history. Where did Jefferson Davis end up?
They think they should.
Shouldn't he, like Mexico or something?
Ran off, out of the country. First he hid in Texas for a while. Okay. By the way, you know what Sam Houston thought? Because Texas seceded also. Sam Houston, governor, did not want Texas to secede. Absolutely did not. Stood up against it. What do you got, Matthew?
I could be getting people mixed up, but didn't Lee go with Virginia because that's where his family was and he was used to
Yes, where he lived. Yeah, so he chose state over country. Was that the right thing for a West Point Army general to do?
No,
Why not?
that's his job.
Right. Swore to defend the Constitution of the United States against enemies foreign and domestic. Okay. Interesting cat. Okay. Not unlike Hitler, we can get into, was he good at things? Sure. Did he screw up? Yeah. Okay. McChrystal chose him because McChrystal grew up in the South and revered him. McChrystal went to West Point also. Okay. And revered Robert E. Lee as a leader. as he was growing up. As he learned more about him and history, and as he grew and writing this book, he realized he's not someone that he should consider a great leader. Now, you can admire some of the things he did, but the fact that he turned his back on his country, as McChrystal is an army general, it's not someone he should be endorsing, okay, which he came to grips with on his own. So, you tell me, this is a myth. If someone follows a checklist of behaviors, they'll be a great leader. Anybody say truth? Yeah, what do you got, Lincoln?
If it's a really, really long checklist.
Argumentative, we'll see. Okay, hang in there, we'll find out. The successes and failures of a team are the result of its leader.
Yes.
Myth? Who says myth? Anybody say truth? Switzerland? Not going to say anything, Brent? All semester, be quiet.
I don't know.
What do we got?
I think failures are more attributable to the leader rather than successes. You know,
So what do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know my answer. I don't know. I'm thinking through
Let me
it.
see if I'm paraphrasing, okay, because this comes up a lot. And I may be way off. Jimbo, okay? Jimbo wins a football game. Who deserves the credit? The team. And the fans? HB deserves credit, okay? The players. The Aggies lose. Whose fault is it? Jimbo's.
Zach Calzada too.
Look at Calzada. Prime example.
Beast.
2-3 weeks ago. What was he?
Trash.
Loser.
Yeah, okay. Bama game. Who was he?
A winner.
Unbelievable.
Tom Brady.
Right? Yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah. Okay, Heisman. All that stuff. Okay? Where was that? Where'd that come from?
God.
Johnny Football.
Prayer, the Catholic priest that prayed over Kyle.
Amen. Yeah.
The coaching, right? Okay?
That's
So, here's my point that I think maybe you were trying to make. And you'll see this with managers. To me, that's a sign of a good coach. If a coach or a manager or boss ever says, hey, I showed them, they just didn't execute. It's their fault. Okay? Not a good leader, in my opinion. Not someone you want to work for,
Coach O.
right? Okay. But if he turns around and says, look, the loss is on me, I didn't prepare. Think of your fish. Fish screw up, whose fault is it?
Fire team leader.
Your fish. They're dumb. They don't know any better, right? Okay? Always the fish. If you screw up on a test, whose fault is it? Always the professors. If you do well on a test, who's responsible for that?
God.
Just praying, please, God, let me learn physics in 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, so where are we at on this one? Where are we at? I don't know if I got what you're
Well,
saying.
yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like a good leader will attribute the successes to the team and the failures to themselves.
Okay, so the successes and failures of a team are the results of its leader. True or false? What do you got, Hannah?
I will say, Lieutenant Colonel Fleming says that your successes or failures as a commander or just anyone is on you as the commander.
Correct.
So that's something like,
Can the team succeed despite shitty leadership?
yes.
Yes. Yes, it can. Can a team have an excellent leader and fail?
Yes.
Okay. Truth or myth? Hang in there and we'll see if you agree or not. Okay? The results myth. Delivering results is all that's required for positions of power and accolades.
Depends on what the results are.
Why would it depend on what the results are?
Because if they're qualitative or quantitative, your delivery as a leader, the results of your leadership, the impact that you have on your followers isn't necessarily performance results. Not something that may be measurable, but it's still a result.
It also depends on how you go.
Can you have a crappy leader and get good results?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the leaders? Was the leader responsible?
No.
Not always. Okay? And let me try to quantify it for you here. JGID. Have you heard that? You know what it stands for?
Just get it done.
Just get it done. Okay? There was an athletic director. SEC school, very good at the time, won multiple national championships in football and some other things. Okay? Gets a job right out of college working in the athletic department. His whole goal is to be an AD. Gets a job working the ticket office. Works his way up. Keeps progressing. Becomes an associate AD. 27, 28 years old, got 7, 8 years of experience, killing it. His license plate, JGID, Just get it done. That's all he wanted people to do. Just get it done. I don't care how. I don't care what it takes. Get your shit done. Okay? It's all about the results. Drives a couple hours to go see a donor. Okay? Talk about football for the first 20 minutes, your quarterback, all that good stuff. Right? Okay? And the guy sitting there at lunch, he sits there and tells him, and he goes, you're never going to advance further than where you're at right now if you don't change. You're an asshole. Puts it a little nicer, but basically says, nobody likes working for you. You treat people like shit. Okay? Guy's got a 2-hour drive back to campus. 27, 28. Life's going well. Got the job moving up. First step, first process, denial. What are you talking about? I'm great. I'm killing it. Okay? Then starts to realize, I've had a lot of turnover in my wake. People have left because of me. Comes to realize that he was an asshole. He treated people like shit. All that mattered was the bottom line. Okay? It wasn't, your kid's sick, you got to be here. All right? Your mom is in the hospital, you got to be here. It didn't matter. He didn't know it. Completely changed how he started managing and leading. Became an athletic director, making $1.2 million a year, killed it. When he'd come in the office in the mornings, he would say hi to everyone. Sometimes it took him 2 or 3 hours to get to his office. Student, intern, all the way up. How you doing? How's your mom? How's your family? How are classes going? Totally changed who he was. Changed his career completely. Okay? So the results didn't matter for the devastation that was left behind him. Okay? All right, so let's try these on for size. Leadership is contextual and dynamic. It needs to be constantly modulated, not boiled down to a formula. It depends.
Isn't that the depends answer?
Absolutely it is. Now, what I would add, though, to keep in mind, it is not just a formula. It doesn't matter. It does depend. You can't always just solve it by adapting some checklist or formula. Okay? Leadership is more an emergent property of a complex system with rich feedback and less a one-directional process enacted by a leader.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Break this one down for me a little bit. A lot of good words in there. Patrick.
I guess it's more of a question, but when you say one directional, do you just mean by, I said it's just a leader basically giving orders and that's it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, top-down leadership. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling the Corps how to operate. Go do it. Robert.
It's innately social. It's a social process.
Yeah, good. I'll take it. Say it.
It kind of ties back to the first one, the main dynamic that needs feedback from the ones you're leading and also the leader.
Yeah, good. Do you have your hand up, Connor?
No, I'm just stretching.
Okay. Has anybody heard of a 360-degree review? What is it?
It's a constant feedback.
Yeah, above and below you. If you're the manager, okay, you need feedback from those below you. Why? What do you got, Hannah?
I was just gonna say, like, communication's a two-way street. Like, if you're not listening to the other half, then how can you grow and develop yourself? And how can you adapt being that dynamic leader?
Why would people not want to do a 360-degree review?
It's hard.
They don't like their weaknesses.
Huh?
They don't like to hear their weaknesses.
Weaknesses, what else?
They don't do your criticism.
They don't want your criticism from who?
They're others.
People below you. You're the boss, you're in charge. Do what I say. That's all that matters, right? If they tell you, hey, you're a giant asshole. Did you learn something? Yeah, don't be an asshole. I'm going to quit and leave and go to another organization, okay? A leader is vitally important for leadership, but not usually for the reasons we describe. It is more about the symbolism, meaning, and future potential leaders hold for their system and less about the results they produce. What do we think? Hannah?
Kind of like you can be that stepping stone to, like, for change. Like, as a leader, like, you can help turn things around. You might not get the results you want,
Okay.
or hit all the check marks. I hate to say that word, but hit everything that you want. But through your leadership, you can kind of become that symbol of, well, this is what we're trying to get. This is each year build off of that.
Okay, Patrick.
To me, I see that more as like trying to be humble, like being a leader isn't about, I guess, getting the credit towards yourself. It's just making sure that the system that you're a part of continues to grow. So whether or not someone remembers you in the future doesn't really matter. I mean, for instance, I don't know every single
good. We get that. Devin?
Like with Einstein, mostly about what they thought he could potentially do.
Okay. Here's the question of the day. It's one of my favorites. You ready? Do we need a president of the United States?
No, we don't.
Uber's movie. Sam, what's funny? You never talk. Say words.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm extremely anti-government these days, so no.
Okay? Just because of the person, or do we need a president?
No, like the president.
Presidents in general? Okay, good. All right. Matthew,
Yeah, you need, so
why?
it's the same reason you need a CEO. A CEO, like, of a company.
It's not what I'm asking. Keep going,
they're,
but
they're a decision maker. I mean, a lot of times, like, they just go to meetings and they get advice from people around them, and then they make that decision. So if you don't have that one person making a decision, you have people not on a unified front going for the same things, and things just explode.
no?
I needed a Dick Cheney and George Bush. I needed that. I needed a good
Why?
figurehead.
Why?
So I could just
What did they do that impacted your life when you were 12 to
SNL.
16?
SNL was really good back in the
Saturday Night Live was better?
Saturday Night Live was a lot better.
Wow, that's one of the better arguments I've ever heard. Okay.
If we didn't need it, then people wouldn't have it. But every country's a
How much does what the president does impact your daily life?
very little, if not none.
My gas prices.
The president has nothing to do with gas prices. I don't care who's in charge.
I mean, he has something.
Who do we need there's 330 million of us. Is anything the president's doing impacting you? Connor.
I would say yes. I mean, because like, okay, is your argument like, Joe Biden isn't, coming down here, taking $20 out of your wallet and saying thanks for buying me lunch, or is this because like, or are we thinking like an international scale, like, oh well, Joe Biden says Taiwan in an interview, and all of a sudden escalations with China just get bumped a little further. 'Cause,
Okay.
I mean, I don't do anything against China myself, but like.
So do we need a president?
Joe Biden has like a way bigger impact on that relationship than I ever will, unless we're talking like the whole front of like American industry trying like slowly pitter-pattering away across the Pacific.
Okay. Does the president have total authority?
No.
Where does the power lie?
With money.
Where's always live?
It's what? What's influence?
The position. I mean, it's like.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can he make decisions on his own?
No. Some things, yeah, executive orders.
But any president has to do those on their own, and they are only an executive order which have a shelf life,
Yeah.
which could be immediately undone by the next one. Where does the power lie in our government? It's spread out. Equal distribution. Founding fathers nailed it. Got it right. Do we need a president?
Yes.
Need an executive branch.
Executive branch? Okay. Danny.
We didn't need if people didn't need presidents and like prime ministers, then no one would happen.
Yeah. Some don't. Some don't.
The majority, the most successful countries.
So because everyone else does it, we should too?
The most successful countries in the world do though. America, Great Britain, China, Russia.
China's a whole different world right now. Hold on. Danny, what do we got?
If we didn't have a president, the same things would happen, just by, they'd be done by other people.
Yeah.
More than likely, there would be distribution of the power, right? Which there already is. Here's the fun part, okay? There's no right or wrong answer. There's not. It does. What do you got, Devin? Do you have your hand up?
I was gonna say something about how I feel like people find comfort in the sense of direction that a single individual might give to a position. Like say you have a president, you don't have a president, you just have a decentralized kind of government structure where you don't have one person saying, this is what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
It's not to say that you're unified because you're never actually unified right now. But I mean, I don't like generally the concentrated power of the president, but I can see how people might like it.
If the CEO goes away, does the company keep running?
Yes. Maybe not in the right direction.
Matthew?
Depends on how active the CEO is. So like,
If the CEO goes away, does the company keep running?
yeah, but there might be turns for the worse though.
It could. Could it also get better?
Quite possibly. But that just means that the CEO is a good CEO.
That's my whole point, bro Chacho. Okay?
Well-
If you have a shitty CEO in a good company, who's responsible? The employees. If you have a bad company and an excellent CEO. Right? England went without a king for a long time. Right? And that's when they learned, what the hell do we need a king for? Now, they kind of did eventually. We're like, well, somebody's got to take the rap. France keeps knocking on our door and getting pissed off. We don't have an answer. So, yes, sometimes you do. But not always. Right? Okay. We're going to run out of time. I love it. My favorite. Why do we follow? It's not just about the outcome. Why do we follow?
Because we chose to.
You chose to? What else? Huh? Lazy? Good. What else? Forced to? Good. I will take it. Leadership is a complex system of relationships between leaders and followers in a particular context that provides meaning to its members. It depends, situation, personalities, organization, all of those things, okay? It could mean achieving results, but it doesn't have to. This is the hardest things for you guys to grab onto. It's not always just about results, okay? It can be coming to an understanding, identifying a hope, an identity. We miss part of what makes leadership powerful if we confine it to just one aspect or another. Right? A leader, someone people follow, plain and simple. Humble and vulnerable versus strong and confident. Which is acceptable?
Both.
Both. Okay? I'm going to run out of time. We can get to it, but absolutely both. Are there times for each? Yeah. But your personality, whatever it is, can absolutely work. However, leadership is difficult yet endlessly inspiring. Leaders are a node in a network, not an apex in a triangle. Complex behavior should be modulated. Read a situation and adjust. It's not glamorous or straightforward. It's painful and perplexing. It is not for everyone. Not everyone is a leader. What's the core do? We make. Do they?
I'm trying to follow a formula.
Bingo. But you run up to Stebbins.
Checklist.
Have a little talk. Okay? By the way, Dr. Payne said, followers hold leaders accountable. Leaders' operating parameters are defined by the followers, and the real efficacy of a leadership system lies within the followers. This is where we define if we need a president or not. This is where countries overthrow governments. Okay? It starts at the bottom. That's who's in charge. Voting, believe it or not, matters. I won't open that Pandora's box any further. Okay? Sam's like, ooh, this is my favorite class so far today. Okay? All right, what we think we see in a leader is often more consequential than reality. Leaders about improving humanity, not just the bottom line. Social entrepreneurship. We're going to run out of time because this is actually some good stuff I'll get into. Okay? Thank you for today. Where are we? We will go back, I think, just to a reading, not LDP, this week. I will most likely be unavailable Thursday to Sunday. I'll be at the game, so if you have questions, shoot me an email and I'll do my best. We should be good to go. We learn anything today?
Are we gonna talk about like the difference between like leaders and managers? Because I like
Hang with it. Hang with me. We'll get there. Okay. Yeah, I know you're itching.
I like the just get it done attitude.
Just keep riding your high of your calling Bama by 3. Okay. Go be awesome. Have a wonderful day.